Heidi ho. So I read something today in a newspaper that I found deeply upsetting and concerning. Not surprising. I think it was fairly representative of most of the general population. And it was about toxic parenting. It was another parent shaming, parent blaming piece that society is happy to publish. And the impact it potentially will have on thousands and thousands of families all over, not only Australia but the world, is so harmful and so detrimental. It was written by a school principal, and it basically outlined that children today are so highly anxious because their parents are mollycoddling them and not allowing them to experience the world and instilling the belief that the world is a dangerous place. I think one of the greatest problems that we face for our youth in society today continues to be our misunderstanding and our lack of knowledge and awareness and acceptance of neurodiversity, neurodivergence. You know, we're still talking about autism as though it's rare. We're still looking at autism as though it is a medical diagnosis only and a problem and a disorder. And we're failing to see the humanness of autism. We're failing to listen to autistic voices that are screaming out, this is not just a medical diagnosis, it is an identity, it is a culture, it is a way of being. And so we're missing the fact that there are so many more people in the world who are autistic, both diagnosed and undiagnosed and misdiagnosed, than we know. Autistic people know this. We as a community, we know this. We know that there are far more numbers, greater numbers than anybody could imagine, of people who are autistic. It doesn't matter where they sit on the spectrum. It doesn't matter what their autistic expression is or how they present. Autism is a human way of being. It's just not a medical diagnosis only. So there's this resistance for people to understand and accept that a lot of youth fit on the autism spectrum. Now, anxiety is a given for autistic people. I've never met an autistic person or known an autistic person who does not experience anxiety and depression. Autistic people are 4 times more likely to experience depression than non-autistic people. And we're looking at our youth having this pandemic or epidemic of mental health issues, but we're not really paying attention to what adults who were once those youth are saying. We are saying, pay attention to your child's neurology because they may just be autistic. And if they're autistic, then they're going to experience anxiety. They're going to have different needs, support needs. This means that we're going to parent them differently. Now, sometimes parents don't realize this when they don't realize their children are autistic. Sometimes parents don't need the autism diagnosis to understand and be in tune with their children and to parent them from a place of supporting them, looking at what their needs are and supporting them. The worst thing that can happen here is that parents are then blamed and shamed for their children having mental health issues or anxiety that prevents them from attending school or participating in life in the ways that non-autistic children do, because people don't know that there's no problem here. The parents are not a problem. The child is not a problem. They are neurodivergent. Neurodivergent, meaning their brain works differently. It means we experience the world differently. It means we have huge emotional responses and when we are young, little capacity to cope with those huge emotional responses. And when you believe that you are non-autistic and you are supposed to be feeling, thinking, being the same as your peers, and you know deep down that you don't think, do, and be the same as your peers, how does that make us feel? It makes us feel isolated and lonely and lost. And then when our parents are blamed and shamed and bullied and harassed and, are exposed to consistent gaslighting, how does that support us as youth, autistic youth, neurodivergent youth, ADHD youth, bipolar youth, whatever it is, however it is that we identify in our neurodivergence? Our families need to be supported. It's not okay for us to consistently and continuously judge parents when we don't live their experience. Why do we think this is okay? Why is this so readily accepted in our society? Why is it okay for us to perceive weakness in families who nurture their children? Why, as a society, do we so readily resent and resist parents who love and nurture their children in whatever way they see fit and appropriate? That is up to us to decide. And it's absolutely unacceptable for people who don't even know us or our children to judge what kind of parents we are and what our children need. I want to encourage you as parents to switch off from that. It's hurtful, it's harmful, and it's not helpful. Absolutely not helpful. I decided a long time ago to switch off. The best parenting advice is to switch off. Don't listen to anybody. Don't even listen to me if what I say does not align with your values, does not resonate with you. It's okay to make your own choices. It's okay to love and nurture your child. It is okay for you to decide what is best for you and your family.